Ready to start? Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. Curious how people are doing on the CTF? Anybody solve it yet? No? No? Keep working on that. Okay. So I am here today to talk about SAST. And I am lucky enough to have my SAST expert from Principal here with me as well. His name is Matt McBride. I'm going to have him raise his hand. It's towards the back of the room there. So he can, we got some people clapping, he can help answer any in-depth technical type questions. So, a little bit about me. This is my second presentation at SecDSM. First one up here by myself, so this is kind of fun. I work at Principal, as I think you already know, still looking for pen testers. I lead the application security team there, where I lead the application vulnerability assessment service, as well as static code and network vulnerability management. So we kind of try to handle it all in the application space. So some topics we're going to go through tonight. Talk a little bit about our security program, DevSecOps, that's probably a term you guys have heard, a little bit familiar with, what SAST is, how did we get started, kind of what our evolution story is, talk about Rulesets and how those apply to SAST, and then we got some really good lessons learned, items to go over with you, and Q&A if you have questions. And you always got to have memes, so one does not simply test their application secure. There's a lot more work to it than that. This here, hopefully you can see it's kind of light. It's a picture that illustrates where SAST fits into our timeline at PFG. You can see it's highlighted in yellow there in the middle. We call it static code security analysis, but it's really SAST. It's part of our building security and maturity model, which is BSIM for short, developed by Gary McGraw at Synopsys. We have a secure software program that wraps all of this together across our development timeline. So we've got an architecture risk analysis, which we call an ARAR. We've got application design. We've got our SAST. We've got AVA, which is like the penetration testing. And then we also have, we have that from an automated perspective as well as a manual perspective. But here today, I'm here to concentrate talking about the SAST piece of this. And like I said, it's really important that you have a full program like this so that you're getting policies and standards set from the top down so that you're getting that buy-in. This is impossible to drive from the bottom up. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see that picture. So DevSecOps, there's the developers piece, which they are hopefully checking all their code into version control of some sort, which then is hopefully getting processed in some sort of CI environment. Within that box, we've got security review, unit testing, QA testing, anything that needs to happen from a testing perspective to go into the build and release process. The piece I'm talking about tonight is in the circle there at the top, where we've got SAST, DAST, and OSS. And the SAST piece is what we're going to talk a little bit about, the static application. DAST, dynamic application security testing, that's something we're also working on Principal. We don't have it built into the build chain yet, but it's something we're working on. Maybe when we get that done, we can come back and talk about that. As well as the open source software scanning, which Matt would tell me is third-party component risk. So working on that as well. So all these very important pieces of the whole dev security ops process. If you only have DevOps without security, you don't have a great process. Okay, so definition of SAST. SAST is, it provides facts about vulnerabilities in your source code. So it's automating the security-centric code review. So it's not just eyes on code, it's an application that's running through your code and helping you understand what the vulnerabilities are. And at the same time, it's really helping educate your developers in what are secure coding practices. So this talks about the vendors in this space. We actually use Fortify at PFG, so a lot of things we'll be seeing tonight talk about the Fortify version. And we have it on their desktop so that they can run it and they can get automatic feedback about where are the vulnerabilities in their code and fix those before they release them into our environments. Really good frameworks, they provide some automatically applied controls, they speed up release, and then they provide that visibility. If you have bad frameworks, they're probably going to make a developer have to remember how to call it, know how to call it all over for the right reasons. A good framework is really where you want to head. This picture here kind of starts to depict how did we start. So you can see there's kind of a long flat line there before we jumped. When we started with Fortify, we purchased licenses like, okay, well, we need to get this on everybody's desktops. So we went out, purchased a bunch of licenses, put it on people's desktops, held training sessions with the developers in the different areas of the company, and we didn't see much. So in order to actually get this jump, we had to get into the build chain. It's critically important. And so the old method really relied on the app dev, the running the scans, uploading results to get any of the numbers. And so that was a little painful, but we learned our lesson. We're in the build chain now. This picture here just helps to depict kind of our growth of lines of code by month. We are actually at 90 million total lines of code per month we're scanning, which is a pretty big number to kind of give you an idea of scale. This here shows you a number of scans per month, and we're right now approaching around 24,000 per month of scans. So pretty big number. From those scans, thought we'd show you, these are our current top 25 vulnerabilities that we see from our code. So I'm not going to read all these to you, but I would tell you, you'll see some things there with asterisks. Those are items that we still have a lot of false positives on. So there's a lot of work involved with going back through your scans, understanding, making sure you understand what's actually been identified, marking those things as false positives so they don't get picked up the next time, validating, making sure those are actually false positives. And my team does some of that as well, as far as working with the business areas and doing some validation, making sure things they're marking are truly false positives. This here talks about kind of the evolution of vulns per 1,000 executable lines of code. For scale, we really needed to be in the build chain. What this shows is, until you're scanning a lot of code, your numbers aren't going to look very good. So if you're only scanning 10 lines of code, it looks like you got a lot of vulnerabilities, or 10 applications. So this really demonstrates kind of our maturity where we're at now. We knew we had some problems to solve when we got into the build chain. Performance of scans, things were going to take very long to scan. We didn't want to slow things down. Fear of the number of results. So, a developer running a scan is like, oh no, if I get 500 results, am I going to have to fix all those before I can take my code to production? That's a valid fear. And then, breaking builds. Developers want to be able to move their code into production. That's what they're getting paid to do, right? These slides talk a little bit about some things to track. So the storytelling, as far as what you're telling to your business partners and your IT areas, is very important. Talk about what do you actually find in the code. This talks about maybe top 10, top 25 vulnerabilities across all code. That's important to share with your business areas or IT areas. That helps them decide what they need to possibly train on, educate on, so that they're not reproducing those same issues over and over. Maybe a count of unique, critical, and high vulnerabilities identified in most recent scan. Lines of code, both maybe gross and executable, most recent scan. You can use that to publish the vulnerabilities. We actually gather and put this data in data files for users every night, so they can go out and they can get it and they can use it for whatever they need to grow their program. A couple other things: count of lines of code, maybe most recent scan date, and original scan date scan of each individual app or repo, depending on how you set it up. Other numbers to track. At Principal, we have multiple organizations, and so each one of those organizations is very interested in the data for their particular organization. So some things we do is, by application or repo, how many days has it been, average number of days since the last time they scanned the code. That's good to know as far as from a maturity perspective. Count of unique versions, apps and repos scanned by unit of time, maybe over a quarter. Count of scans by unit of time or lines of code. Rule sets. So Fortify, and I'm sure several of the other tools as well, have rule sets that it's using to determine what to count as vulnerabilities. We do a couple different things at Principal. We have reduced rule sets that we use in our build environments. This year is just a list of those things that we're looking at right now. And then there's the full rule set, which is what developers are running on their desktops. Now, there are 891 plus rules as of April. There's a reference here. I can share my slides later. That's a lot of rules, and as you can imagine, that produces a lot of data for the developer. If we did that in the build chain, it would be overwhelming and time-consuming. So instead, one of the things that we do, we found to be successful, is we have two build chains set up. So the first one is it's a duplicate build chain with the full rule set. So that's all of the rules running on all of the code, and we call that safe scanning. So we let them do that without any sort of, I don't know, slap on the hands, or it's nothing bad is going to happen to them because of this information. It lets us meet with them and talk about where are they at, where maybe some of their large problem areas or large opportunity areas that they can take and move forward. We're a very agile culture at Principal. They can take this information, put it into their stories, work it back into their teams, and figure out how to make things better going forward, so that then, with a real build chain with a limited rule set, they can come back and tweak that. So we can constantly improve that rule set and add to it as our code base is getting better. Also, it helps solve our performance problem. Limited rule set doesn't take nearly as long to run as a full rule set. I think last I heard, Matt can correct me if I'm wrong, we're running most of our apps through in like 90-some% of our apps through in under 10 minutes. Is that it? 98% in under 10 minutes. It's pretty good number. This also solves our breaking builds issue, as we're only breaking builds for critical and high items that we've planned for. And so the idea is, by the time you've gotten from here to over here with those rules, you've purged the really bad stuff. And if it crops up again over here, you really should be breaking a build and trying to figure out, why did that get reintroduced? Or maybe it's something new that developers aren't watching for, and make sure they get it fixed. Okay, so then here, this part is about lessons learned. Automation, it's very essential. So you saw my graph earlier with a really flat line until we jumped. It means integration with your build chain. For us, it's Fortify's cloud scan infrastructure. And don't break things right away. Developers are humans too. They don't want bad feedback if they haven't had a chance to fix things yet. It's a bundle of facts. It's going to help you evolve your service. Also important to call out, it might be too difficult to scan whole applications. You can just focus on scanning source code repos. You don't have to scan the whole thing right away either. So, if you can't scale, it's unlikely you're going to succeed. Speed matters. Like I said, track your scan times. I think we're up to 10 engines. Is that right, Matt? 10 scanning engines to support the throughput we've got. Also, let's see, establish security champions. Use security enthusiasts. So, when you do things like that picture where you're gathering all those facts about your code and you're making improvements, at Principal, we're using that where maybe one area where our business is doing a really great job with it. We can take that story and we can shop it around the company and say, look what they've done over here. We can help you do that here as well. That's a really good story to tell. And then, if you have security champions, security enthusiasts, people actually in that department, in the business department, helping you drive security. It's not just ISR or information security people coming to them and saying, thou shalt do this. It's people in their own business area that's helping to drive the culture of security. Using a reduced rule set to increase speed and acceptance, like we talked about. Using tool features to reduce false positive and productivity loss. Fortify has some tools for that. I'm sure others do as well. That you go in and tweak things. We even do things like build our own custom rules as we have things that maybe aren't getting found like we want them to. Keep your rules up to date. Fortify has new rules releases all the time. We make sure we push those out. We let people know when we're getting those pushed out. Practice safe scanning, environment just for learning, like having the duplicate environments, like I mentioned. And then for metrics, start small. Don't try to boil the ocean all at once with all of your metrics. We started with coverage. So if you start with code coverage, maybe after you achieve a threshold where you have some facts, then you can start to talk about those facts and figure out what additional metrics do you want to introduce as you're growing your service. It's based on facts and then the goals you want to achieve. And then application security training is important. Code isn't going to get better. A developer just can't write it right the first time. So this really helps them to do that. I would also say, I don't have it out here, but there's some really good security training available. Secure Code Warrior, I don't know if anybody's heard of them before. We're taking a look at them right now at Principal. I'd recommend checking them out if you're looking to educate some of your some developers on security. And of course I have to have a meme. No cybersecurity makes me even grumpier. Q&A, more questions? It was all perfect, no questions? Okay, well if you have questions later and you want to reach out and ask me, that's fine. We're going to do another 10-minute break, keep working on the CTF, then we'll have our last speaker. Thank you.